it's always so funny because it's like the same thing as over there, except the people I know are asking the questions and they're all really close. So
True that. We can make the questions a little different.
Yeah.
Will that help? You guys had a ton of success last year. A lot of veteran free agents, one-year deals. How different does your outlook to free agency come in this year, where you want to get some of those guys back, but you got a lot of cap space too?
Yeah, I mean it's the same as last year. We have a little less cap space, but we really operate more off a cash budget, and so cap space and that stuff is always kind of whatever's on the internet's not always the case. But I think don't really compare this year to last year, but we just have a lot of free agents and we still have a lot of holes to fill on the roster. We have, I think, the second least amount of players on our roster in the league right now, so we'll be busy, but we want to spend, on Commanders and spend the right way. So that's how we're going to look at it.
How important is it to get a few of those deals done before free agency opens? Some of the guys you've identified as Commanders, keep them in-house.
Yeah, certainly like to do that, and we're talking with a lot of those guys right now. It just depends on what they want to do, and if they want to, if we can come to an agreement before free agency. Some guys want to hit free agency and see what their market is. Some guys want to get stuff done right away. The great thing is the culture that DQ created. There's a lot of guys that want to come back, and we've had a lot of really good conversations with that. And so, proud of that. Proud of what DQ's created, and having a lot of guys that want to be Commanders going forward.
Tell us which ones want to come back.
No.
when John Allen says I'd like to seek a trade, and you guys have that discussion, without giving away trade secrets, what goes through the GM's mind and when that takes place?
I think they're always these kind of decisions and things you have to come up with are always tough, right? And with John, who's been a great player as a Commander, as a football teamer and a Redskin, he's been a great person for this franchise for a long time. So you have to weigh in everything, and we looked at internally and okay, what decision do we want to make that we think is best for the team, but also you want to do what's best for that player. So those are tough conversations to have, but you always want to have them civilly, and we have, and his agent's been really good with us, and look forward to coming to a resolution.
And for you, last year you were a month into the gig.
Yeah.
How much more different do you feel this time around with the success you've had and the quarterback you have?
Yeah. Well, I didn't even know what a scrum was. Sean said you have a scrum. I was like, what is a scrum? And so then I found out what a scrum was. So it's a lot different. Everything we've done, not everything once, but most everything once. So that's really helpful. But like we said on the podium, having a quarterback is a great thing, and not just a quarterback, but a really, really good one who's an awesome person. So proud of that, and proud of Jaden, what he accomplished, and everything that he's accomplished. He's self-made. He's got two great parents that helped him a lot, and a lot of people that helped him along the way, but he was never given anything. So to have somebody like that leading your franchise is really cool.
Do you feel like you have enough draft capital where if you wanted to make a significant trade that you would still be able to build to the draft?
Like what? No.
you tell me.
I mean, there's always gonna be trade-offs if you do something like that, and we have 7 picks, and so it's a full allotment. It's not our own 7 picks, but I think it just goes back to Sam just always doing what we think is best for the team.
Does the success of the team and having Jaden on a rookie deal alter the way that you approach this offseason as opposed to last year?
Yeah, I think every offseason's different, in terms of last offseason, there was a lot we had to accomplish, and I thought we did a really good job. And this year, I mean, we still have a lot of challenges. So having Jaden is great, obviously, but you still want to build the team the right way with the right type of people.
How does the recovery timeline for Sam Cosmi impact your evaluation of the roster right now?
I don't think it will. I mean, we have so much. We just have a lot of places we have to fill in, so we're going to look at it the same way. Sam's doing an incredible job. He's in there every day already. I mean, he wouldn't believe it. I mean, he's in there as much as he can every day. So he's going to attack this rehab and get back as soon as he can. And we're not going to rush him. He had a major surgery, but we know that he'll be back and be a really good player when he comes back. So it's just really more about building the depth there and just a lot of depth around the team.
From year 1 to year 2, what are some lessons you're pulling from last year into this year?
Everything. Everything's a lesson that we've learned, but I think, we hit on it over there, but just trying to bring in commanders and the right type of people.
Where do things stand for you as giving a Terry McLaurin extension as far as a priority for you guys this offseason?
Yeah, I don't think we're going to get into those conversations, and if we do, those will probably remain private. But first of all, congratulations to Terry on his wedding with Caitlin, we love Terry. He's a great commander, and we're really looking forward to having him again next year. Yeah.
What are the must-have traits for that position, and have they changed at all?
Have they changed? I don't think they each want to be like 6'5" with 36-inch arms and run like a 1.310 time and be able to turn the corner and also have power. But those guys don't grow on trees. So, I think what you're looking for is someone who's relentless, someone who's physical, someone who's got that get off, and really, to be really good in this league, I think you have to have both speed and power. And so that's what you look for in a pass rusher.
Have any players influenced your view of that position?
Yeah, I think every year someone influences your view, and there's different ways that guys win, and so we're around guys like this year we had probably the top two guys were DA and Fowler, and they do it a different way than guys that we had before like Bosa or D Ford. So it really opens your eyes, and it makes you, I think, the more experience you have, the better you can be at finding guys that can do what you want to do by seeing different traits in them that you've seen with the players you've been with.
The stuff they're measuring here. Go ahead, Candace.
Hi there. So far, you all have largely been able to keep this coaching staff together.
Yeah.
So what does that say about, going back to your point of what Dan Quinn, the culture he's built, what does that have to say with keeping most of this coaching staff together?
Well, that's exactly it. I think you hit it. It's the culture that he built, that people want to be here, and coaches want to be here, and coaches that have other opportunities will turn those down to stay here, and that's all DQ and what he's built in this culture and the environment, and I think it's really, really fun to be a coach here. I'm not a coach, but I'm around them all the time, and they love it. And not only that, but we have a great group of coaches. I think I would put that first-year coaching staff against any first-year coaching staff and what he assembled, and that goes back to last year when there were so many people that wanted to coach with him, just knowing about him, not even knowing him really well, and then wanting to stay this year. It speaks a lot to who he is.
And how do you go about prioritizing which position groups that you all kind of target in draft and free agency?
I think first you look at where you don't have anybody in the depth chart, which there's a few places that we don't, but you assess really your needs with what's available both in the draft and free agency, and try to balance that as much as you can, and it's like a puzzle a little bit where, okay, this position's really strong in free agency, where this position will probably need to address during the draft. And that can change, and that's fluid, just depending on, there's all different ways to get guys to. There's trades and cap casualties and things that can happen. But you try to do, going into the offseason and into March, really just understanding the totality of the classes and understanding where you can best use your assets.
You mentioned the fans. You mentioned the fans, and they're going to watch the combine. So what takes place for the GM and all your staff when you bring guys into a room? Are there guys that surprise you and kind of turn your head and go, oh, this is one of our guys?
Yeah, there are, and really the biggest mistakes at the combine that I've made, or places where I've been have made, is putting too much into that 15, 20-minute interview, and like saying, okay, this guy's not commander, for example, because there's so much that goes into those things, and you could get a player who's not really good in interview settings. Like, I'm not a great interview setting person, so I understand that, and some people are really good in interview settings and really, but they're not hitting the marks other places. So, but in the room, it's really cool. You have a bunch of people around the table. We have the player kind of sitting in the middle, and then our coaches are on a Zoom. So so they can talk to them, and we watch film with them, and you really get to know them, and you ask questions that your scouts have spent 6 months finding answers to and confirming those, or thinking you need to really look into those more. So it's a really cool process, but you can't make any sweeping judgments in those 15 or 20 minutes. But it's a good, like for myself, it's the first time that I get to really meet these guys. So it's really cool to see. And all these guys have been through so much to get here and achieve their dreams. So it's really proud. You're proud of them and all they've been through and how excited they are. So you try to take that into account too. This is so important for them that you really want to make them feel comfortable and at ease so they can be their best selves.
Do you anticipate emphasizing and prioritizing athleticism to the degree that you did last year?
Pardon me?
Do you plan on prioritizing athleticism in the draft as to the high degree that you did last year?
I don't know that we totally prioritize. You always prioritize athleticism, right? And so, but you always want great athletes on your team. I think. It's always about the people, and the tape and really how they learn and everything. There's so much that goes into it. Athleticism, obviously, you want everything, but as you get later in the draft, there's certain things you're going to give on. Will you give on a little bit of athleticism for technique or size or anything like that? And those are things you have to balance. And having a great relationship with the coaches and understanding what they want and what they need, you can make those decisions a little bit better.
All right. Thanks, AP. Appreciate it.
How do you assess out of Brandon Coleman's year, and how does that affect what you may do for the offensive line this year?
I think Brandon did a great job. I think Brandon did a really, really admirable job when you talk about coming in and being a left tackle all year. And that's a tough position in the NFL, and I think he's just going to keep getting better. And we're really excited about his future. And he is the right type of guy, too. He's tough. He's athletic. He's only going to get better. So we're really excited about his future.
All right. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, AP.